Back here in Oz, the climate debate is about to heat up as well, with a group of Nationals MPs pushing for a plan to boost manufacturing. This plan will include the federal government supporting new coal-fired power stations to make sure we have cheap and reliable energy. I'm joined now by Nationals MP David Gillespie in Wauchope, New South Wales. Thanks for joining us, David. Honestly...
Happy Australia Day.
Yeah, happy Australia Day to you too. Why push for more government intervention to produce coal-fired energy?
Look, we don't necessarily want the government to build this reliable energy, but if industry isn't going to do it and private business, well, look, who else is going to do it? New South Wales has announced they're going to retire 8,250 megawatts of power between now and 2030, and we won't have any manufacturing. In fact, we'll have widespread blackouts just about every day if we don't get that replaced. That's basically the baseload power that runs New South Wales day in, day out, whether it's nighttime, daytime, cold, hot, windy, sunny, whatever. And we are concerned about manufacturing. Everyone wants it to come back and grow in Australia, and we get some resilience in our own supply chain to make stuff, value add, and become a more wealthy nation. But you've got to have oodles of energy to manufacture. It's got to be cheap and it's got to be reliable.
Yeah,
and we're very concerned that,
Yeah, well, look, we all know that we need cheap, reliable energy. We all know that as a country, through state and federal policies, we've given away our cheap, reliable energy advantage. But surely if there are going to be shortfalls, it's going to be the Australian Energy Market Operator that's going to identify them and tell people, warn governments that we need more generation. Are they flagging that alarm sufficiently strongly at the moment?
Well, look, they have, those figures I was quoting came out of AEMO documents. They've identified that same very fact, that there will be the requirement for that to be dispatchable and reliable to back up renewables, because they know what everyone knows. You know, renewables, you can have all the installed capacity in the world, but sometimes when the weather doesn't suit or it's the wrong time of the 24-hour cycle, you don't get any energy. Like at night from solar energy, you know, the capacity factor of wind on average is about 30%. For solar, it's about 20%. But that's on average. Sometimes you might only get 4%. You can't run an economy or businesses with intermittent energy. That's why you need that constant amount. When we go to sleep at night, with all our machines turned off, there's still electricity running around, keeping Australia going.
You've got to get someone to build it, though.
Electricity systems.
You've got to get someone to invest in that.
Well, that's what we're saying. It's a problem.
Yeah. Now, the issue, though, is that the whole world is going for this net zero emissions by 2050 target. Labor are signed up to that. There are indications that Scott Morrison and the Coalition might sign up to it in Glasgow. What will the Nationals do? Will you support that commitment from an Australian government?
Oh, look, that's hypothetical. As the PM said, we will decide what our targets are. We've set them at the moment. On Saturday, he gave the indication that we won't be changing it any time soon. We're on track to meet our 26 to 28%. In fact, the target that we'll probably meet is 29 and possibly 30%.
Sure, but let's talk about that 2050 target, because that's going to be in the frame. It's not hypothetical. The point is, do you believe Australia should sign up to that target? Would the coalition, the Nationals in the coalition, resist that target?
Look, the net zero target, using technology, you could potentially meet it, particularly if you use, carbon farming initiatives and you use modern energy-saving technology in the built environment. Look, everyone turns to the electricity sector to fix everything. We're just saying, if you're going to run a modern industrial economy, get manufacturing going again, you're going to need to plan to have reliable energy there. And what we're saying is the obvious thing in Australia, unless we're going to go nuclear, but that's currently illegal, we need to get modern, up-to-date, super efficient, highly efficient, low-emission technology to replace all these old 1960s and 70s power stations that will inevitably have to be retired. It's just common sense, Chris. And it will actually help us reach all those targets, because if you have got modern, high efficiency, low emission ultra supercritical power stations using energy-dense black New South Wales coal, you'll get a 43% reduction, which is another 13 or 14% above what our target is. This will help that.
It makes a lot of sense, but it's going to be like threading a camel through the eye of the needle. Thanks for joining us, David Gillespie. I appreciate it.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
David Gillespie there from the Nationals. Watch out for that debate. That's going to kick up a stir in coming months.